Okay, so have you ever noticed this thing where you're like, you're trying to speak English
Mm.
and you've got the thought in your head,
Uh-huh.
but it's like your brain just slams on the brakes and it like
Yeah.
insists on translating it like word for word from your native language.
Yeah,
It's like trying to run through mud, isn't it?
it is.
Well, today on the deep dive, we are going to be like spelunking into the source of that frustration.
Yeah.
We found this super interesting conversation between two English language learners, Ethan and Sophie.
Okay.
And they were really grappling with this whole thing of like, how do you turn off that internal translator and start thinking directly in English?
That's a good goal.
Yeah, so that's our mission for you today. Like, how do we give you a shortcut to more fluent and more natural English?
Well, and I think what's so interesting about what Ethan and Sophie are talking about is this is something that like pretty much everyone who learns a new language goes through. It's
Right.
like this bottleneck that we all experience.
Totally, yeah. And so Sophie really nails it when she's explaining to Ethan why that translation crutch is actually holding him back.
Yeah.
So let's break down why this translation habit is so inefficient.
Okay.
First of all, it's slow, right? Like the Sophie points this out.
Yeah.
You're basically adding these extra layers of processing. It's like milliseconds, but those milliseconds add up in a fast conversation.
Right.
And Ethan even talks about how he's like, I've had that experience where the conversation's moved on and I'm still like building my translated response in my head
Happens all the time.
all the time, right?
Yeah, and it's not even just about the time that it takes.
Right.
Sophie also points out that translation isn't always that accurate.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because languages aren't like these neat one-to-one swaps, There's all these nuances and idioms and like sometimes there's just concepts that don't even exist in other languages.
Oh, wow.
And so you might end up with something that like technically if you were to like write it down and translate it back, it's correct, but it doesn't really feel natural.
Yeah, it's like a little bit off.
Exactly.
And so then that brings us to the next problem, which Sophie also brings up,
Okay.
which is the stress
Uh-huh.
and how it just like crushes your confidence.
Oh yeah.
Because you're doing this mental juggling act of translating and worrying about getting it wrong, and it can just turn speaking English from this like fun exchange into this really stressful thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so what we're really going to delve into today and what Sophie is really trying to help Ethan with is how do you actually retrain your brain
Right.
to go around that translation step and start generating thoughts directly in English?
That's the big question.
It is a big question, but she breaks it down into these really, really practical steps.
I like that.
Yeah. So the first one, it might seem kind of obvious,
Okay.
but it is super fundamental.
Right.
It's about building a basic English vocabulary, but doing it inside your mind.
In your mind.
Yeah. So instead of going through that detour of your native language,
Yeah.
you're connecting words directly to their meaning.
Oh, okay. So give me an example.
So like, okay, let's say you see a chair.
Okay.
The immediate thought should be chair,
Got it.
not the word for chair in your first language.
Right.
And the same thing goes for emotions.
Okay.
So if you're feeling tired, the internal label should be, I am tired.
That makes sense.
And what's so cool about this is by making this direct link, you're basically creating this like super highway in your brain.
Mm-hmm.
It's this more efficient route. It cuts out the middleman, the slow and potentially error-prone translation step.
So it's kind of like knowing the direct route to a destination.
Yes.
Instead of having to take all these side streets.
Exactly.
Of that.
Yeah, and Sophie even gives Ethan this little exercise to practice this.
Oh, fun.
Which I think we should all do right now.
Okay, I'm in.
So just take a look around, you pick out any object you see, and just in your mind, name it in English.
Okay.
And how are you feeling right now? Try to identify that feeling and label it internally, but use English.
Awesome.
Yeah, and it's so cool to see how Ethan picks this up so quickly. Like he looks around, he sees his laptop, and boom, the thought is just laptop.
Laptop.
And he's feeling, ready to learn. So I think he's excited to learn.
That's great.
Yeah, and it seems so simple, right?
It does.
But this is really the foundation of thinking in English.
Yeah, it's like step one.
It's like step one.
You got to get that down.
You got to get that down. And then Sophie builds on this with the next step,
Okay.
which is connecting those English words to visuals.
Oh, that's interesting.
So instead of your brain going into auto translate mode,
Uh-huh.
you're going to try to visualize the object or the action that the word represents.
Okay.
So if you hear apple,
Apple.
you're not thinking of the word for apple in your native language.
Right.
You're picturing a bright red, juicy apple.
I get it.
And if you hear rain,
Rain.
you're seeing those raindrops falling down.
I can see it.
And this is such a cool technique because it's tapping into visual processing.
Yeah,
Like our brains are wired for that.
they are.
And then Sophie gives Ethan another exercise.
Okay, let's hear it.
So she tells him, okay, close your eyes. Imagine a dog running around in a park.
Okay.
And then describe what you see, but use English.
Right.
And Ethan comes up with, the brown dog is running fast in the green park.
Nice.
It's a simple sentence, but it shows that he's starting to create these English descriptions directly from a picture in his mind.
Yeah, he's not translating.
He's not translating.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so we can try this too.
Let's do it.
Just close your eyes for a sec. Think of something simple and then describe it to yourself using English words.
I like it.
And now that we've made these connections between English words and, things we see, Sophie takes it a step further.
Okay.
And she introduces this idea of English self-talk.
Self-talk.
Yeah, so it's
Nice.
about consciously making English your inner voice.
Oh, so the language you think in.
Exactly. So throughout your day, you're going to be narrating everything you're doing, but in English.
So, like, what kind of things?
So it could be simple things like, I am making coffee. I am checking my email. I am walking down the street.
Those are good ones.
Yeah, and I know it might feel a little weird at first,
I can imagine.
especially if you're not used to it, but the repetition is what's going to rewire your brain.
It's like practice, right?
Like practice, exactly.
You get better at
You
it.
get better at it. And what I really like is how Sophie talks about how you can build on these basic sentences.
Oh, okay. So it's not just like one word.
It's not just one word. So she uses this example of like, okay, you start with, I am drinking coffee.
I am drinking coffee.
But then you can level up and say, I am savoring a warm cup of coffee while catching up on the morning news.
Oh, I like that.
Right. So you're adding more detail,
Yeah.
more context.
It's like painting a picture with words.
It's like painting a picture with words.
Yeah.
And the best part is you can do this anywhere.
True.
You don't need a conversation partner.
You're just talking to yourself.
You're just talking to yourself in English.
This is great.
Yeah. And so the next step that Sophie talks about is taking this self-talk and applying it to social situations.
Oh, so now we're getting into conversation.
Now we're getting into conversations, but it's like mental rehearsal.
Okay.
So you're going to imagine yourself in different situations.
Boy.
Like maybe you're ordering food at a restaurant or asking for directions.
Those are good ones.
And then you're going to run through the dialogue in your head
In English.
in English. So Sophie gives some examples like, excuse me, could I please have a latte?
No.
Or, hello, I'm looking for the museum. Can you tell me how to get there?
Those are really practical.
They are really practical.
Yeah.
And what Ethan points out, which I think is really cool,
Yeah.
is that you get to practice these real life interactions
Without pressure.
without the pressure of actually having to do it in front of someone.
It's like a safe space.
It's like a safe space. Exactly.
Yeah.
So why don't we try this right now?
Okay.
Think of a conversation you have a lot, maybe at work, maybe with your friends, and just imagine how that conversation would go in English.
All right. I go.
Awesome. And then Sophie has this other really great piece of advice,
Okay.
which is about thinking in phrases
Phrases.
instead of individual words.
Oh, that's interesting.
So instead of trying to memorize all these separate words and then like puzzle them together grammatically,
Uh-huh.
she says you should focus on learning chunks of language, like whole phrases.
Oh, okay.
So like think about, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
You don't think about it as three separate words. It's one unit.
It's one unit.
And she gives this other great example with saying yes and no.
Okay.
So instead of just saying yes or no, you could say, that sounds great,
Right.
or I'm afraid I can't.
Yeah, those are good.
And what this does is it makes your speech sound more natural and less hesitant.
Because you're not stopping to translate every single word.
Exactly. You're just accessing these like pre-made units of meaning that native speakers use all the time.
It's like you're speaking the language instead of constructing it.
Yeah, it's like learning chords on a piano
Oh, yeah.
instead of just individual notes.
You get a much richer sound.
Much richer sound. And then to really immerse yourself in that natural flow, Sophie's next tip is all about surrounding yourself with English.
Okay, so English immersion.
English immersion. So this means like actively watching English movies and TV shows.
Okay,
Maybe even pausing to repeat sentences you hear.
I like that.
Listening to English podcasts like this one.
Of course.
Reading English books and articles and just trying to think about the story or the information in English.
That makes sense.
And Ethan really gets excited about this because he realizes that the more he hears English and sees English, the easier it becomes to think in English.
So it's like your brain is just absorbing it.
It's like absorbing it.
It's like a sponge.
Like a sponge, exactly.
Okay.
But Sophie's final piece of advice is so important.
All right, what is it?
She reminds us that this isn't going to happen overnight.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's a skill.
It takes time.
It takes time. And she emphasizes the importance of patience. Patience.
So it's okay if you don't get it right away.
Mm-hmm.
There are going to be times when you slip back into translation mode.
Yeah.
That's totally normal.
We've all been there.
We've all been there. The key is to keep practicing.
Keep going.
Don't get discouraged.
Yeah.
And Ethan's commitment to practicing every day and being patient with himself is something I think we should all take inspiration from.
I agree.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Definitely.
And to recap everything, Sophie gives this great summary of her 7 key steps.
Okay, let's hear them.
So number 1, stop translating and start thinking directly in English words.
Okay.
Number 2, use visual thinking to connect those English words to images so you don't have to translate.
Nice.
Number 3, practice talking to yourself in English throughout the day.
Good one.
Number 4, imagine conversations in English.
I like it.
Number 5, learn and think in phrases, not just words.
That's important.
It is important.
Yeah.
Number 6, immerse yourself in English as much as possible.
Movies, podcasts, books, all of it. Yeah. And number 7, be patient and practice every day.
Love it.
And Ethan says he feels so much more confident after learning these steps.
That's great.
And I think it really highlights the potential for all of us.
Yeah, if he can do it, we can do it.
Exactly. And as Sophie says, if you put in the effort and you use these techniques, thinking in English is absolutely achievable.
Totally.
So as you go about your day, I want you to think about one specific situation where you usually find yourself translating in your head.
Okay.
And how could you apply one of these 7 steps right now to start thinking in English in that situation?
It's a good challenge.
It's a good challenge. And, think about how shifting away from that translation process could really open up your understanding of the language.
That whole new way of thinking.
It's a whole new way of
I
thinking.
love it.
And as Ethan and Sophie showed us, it's a really rewarding journey.
It is.
So good luck out there.
Have fun with it.
Have fun with it.
Yeah.
All right. That's it for today's deep dive. We'll see you next time.